This video is about actors getting real life experiences. It really helps your performance, I promise you. Now, acting classes are great. We all need acting classes, and I continue to pitch acting classes and talk about acting classes and make actors understand the importance of it. I remember when I first started out, I took my first acting classes in college, and it was a great experience because I didn't know what to expect. I had never been in an acting class, and I hadn't done much reading about what to expect in an acting class. So when I got in there, we did a lot of abstract exercises. We did a lot of vocal exercises, movement, all kinds of stereotypical acting class experiences that you may have read about over the years if you've done some reading on acting. But that's all good and well. But what you really need to is real life experiences. Now, I'm not saying go out there and cause havoc in your life and cause problems. I'm saying look back over your life. Even if you're young, look back over your life and see what experiences you can draw from. And they don't even have to be your direct experiences. You can look at family members who have went through hard times, family members you may have helped, you may have talked to, you may have counseled or just been there as a support mechanism for them. Look at all those problems, look at issues, look at small issues, big issues. All those issues are important. And you need to bank those issues so that you can use them when you need them as an actor. So don't think any experience you had is wasted. If you really are going into the arts and you're going into acting and you want to be the actor that can pull from those resources and use those to embody your character with those emotions, that's something that's very powerful as an actor. And that's something you need to practice. And you need to think it through. As you plan to do this, you want to decide what things happen in my life can I use that fit this character. Now, it doesn't have to be the exact issue. That's one thing I want to stress. It doesn't have to be the exact issue, but the feelings underneath can match up, or they can get really close, and they can allow you to bring out emotions and feelings that are natural and realistic. So that's another thing I want you to keep in mind. And I want to point this out really clearly, that the issues don't have to match exactly. You want to look at situations that brought up some kind of emotion, some kind of feeling. Like I said, it doesn't have to be directly your issue. It could be a brother, it could be a sister, it could be a cousin, it could be from your mother, it could be from your father, uncle, cousin, someone you're close to that you know how the situation affected them, and you know how it brought, emotions to your family, your friends. All those issues are things you should think about when you're looking at a character and you want to portray that character. You want to bring that character to life. And you want that character to be not one-dimensional. You want that character to be a real person or feel like a real person. So those feelings are things that you can use in your acting to bring your character to life. And even in your audition, it's really important to use that in your audition because a lot of times you don't get a lot of context in your audition material. So you can pull something from your real life, from a friend's life, again, a family member, and use that feelings. It's better if it's your own, but use those feelings in your audition to bring your character to life. Audiences can feel when you're faking it if you've never felt certain emotions, or if you're not using other emotions in their place. They can feel it when you're just trying to fake an emotion, especially crying. That's one of the most obvious ones. When you're trying to feel that something is really hurting you and it brings tears to your eyes. You need to think back upon something in your life that made you cry or made you want to cry, something that really hurt you. Those are the kind of emotions you want to match up with your character. So again, audiences can feel it if you're just faking it, if you haven't even given it enough thought to use your real life and put that into your character. That's what makes the good actors stand out from the mediocre actors who use real feelings to be underneath the character's words. And it doesn't always have to go to the point of crying. It could be, you're upset with a coworker who said something nasty to you, and that's your character has to bring that out. Think back to a time where a classmate, a coworker, a family member said something to you that made you feel bad, that made you feel upset, that made you want to lash out. Use those feelings with your character. So it takes some thought. And again, like I said, This is really important in the audition stage because you want to bring that character to life. Maybe you only have one page. Maybe you only have one paragraph. And unfortunately, a lot of times, you only have one line. So you need to have something that drives those words, something in you that makes those words seem believable. So remember, audiences can see it. And you've seen it too. You've seen actors who you can tell they're just, delivering those lines just to say the line to get it out of the way. But you want to have something under it. I don't care how small the part is. And again, you're not every emotion doesn't have to rise to the occasion of screaming and crying and anger. They're minor emotions also. Think about those things that happen to you every day. Maybe you'll go to the restaurant and you go to the drive-through and they give you the wrong order. You get upset a little. Even those small emotions, or you're happy about something, even the small emotions can be used to bring your character to life. So always keep that in the back of your mind. Don't just say the words. Don't just say the words. Don't get into the habit of just saying the words, because that's when acting becomes fake and phony. And again, the audience can see it. There's also a problem with polished but empty emotions. You might have an actor, or you'll see an actor, or you have a scene partner who has every line down, word for word. They know when they're going to pause. They know when they're going to step back. They know when they're going to smile. Polished performances can also look empty. You may know all the lines. You may know everything you plan to do. And that's the problem. Not knowing the lines, but planning every movement, like when I'm going to blink my eyes, when I'm going to look up and when I'm going to look down, when I'm going to raise my voice, when I'm going to, sneeze or cough or look away. You don't want to plan every movement that your character makes. You want to have emotions underneath what you're saying, and also listening to the other character and responding to what he or she says. So a big part of acting is listening, to see what you get from your scene partner or someone in an audition situation, whoever's reading with you. Listen to those words and see how those words make you feel. And use that feeling to deliver the dialogue, to move, to live, to be alive in that scene for that moment. So don't get into the habit of just learning each and every word, and that's the only thing you're concerned about. And then you deliver a stiff, robotic performance. You kind of sound like an artificial intelligence reading back text that was given to it. You want to be alive when you deliver those lines back to the reader, your scene partner, the director, the producer, or you're in the scene, you're on camera, and you're delivering those lines to your scene partner. You want it to be real. You want to listen and respond accordingly. So always remember, know the lines, but don't plan every little move you're going to make, because that's going to make you look phony. That's going to make you look robotic. That's going to make you look stiff. You want to be alive. Don't worry about how fast you deliver your lines. I have a habit of speaking fast. So one of my concerns is always slowing down and relaxing and thinking about my response to the other character. So that's what you want to do too. You want to decide how you're going to respond. If it's a heated argument, you're going to probably respond quickly. If they say something hurtful, you might let that sink in for a moment before you respond. If they say something that makes you smile, you may think about that too. And then you give them a nice smile and then you respond. So those are things you want to come naturally. And that comes with practice. The only way, a lot of what I'm talking about today comes with practice. Doing scenes with other actors and taking your time, not trying to just rush through the lines. Respond naturally, how you would respond, and use, again, feelings that you may have felt. Again, it doesn't have to be the exact feeling. It doesn't have to be the exact emotion. You can use emotions from some other situation to put into the acting situation and make your responses believable and three-dimensional and alive. That brings your character to life, and that's what casting people want to see. They want to see a live person there. If the director has to correct it later, that's fine. But they want to see that you can bring that character to life. And if they need to change it later, they'll change it. So don't worry about that. Just bring your character to life by using emotions that you may have used in some other situation, or again, that you may have heard about or been in close proximity of, family members, friends, anything. But you want to use real emotions that drive your character. And when I say emotions, it doesn't have to always be to the heights or to the depths. It can be the normal emotions that we use every day. So think about that also. Many actors think of rejection as a superpower because you're going to face a lot of it. You're going to face a lot of rejection. So just get used to it. Accept it. Start accepting it because you're not going to get every role you go out for. You're not even going to get the roles. You're not even going to get every role that you're exactly right for. So you need to accept rejection as, some say, a superpower, where you decide, okay, I didn't get that one, I'm going to get the next one. And if I don't get the next one, I'm going to keep going forward until I get the one that's a perfect fit for me. So don't let it get you down. I know that's easier said than done. Don't take it personally. Again, I say this in all the videos when I talk about rejection. There are endless amount of reasons why you might not have gotten the role. You might be too tall, too short. You might not be the right complexion. You may speak faster or slower, or, you may be too beautiful. You may be too unattractive. You may be too rugged. You may be too big. Whatever the reason, you're never going to know the reasons, but there are a multitude. I've been on both sides of the table as an actor and as a director casting. You're not going to know the reasons. And that's something you don't want to obsess about. You want to do the audition and forget about it. And then if you get that call, great. But don't obsess about it. I know you're going to think about it a little bit. I still do to this day, and I've been in this business over 35 years. You think about the audition that you didn't get, that you were perfectly right for, but you have to let that go. You get to the point where you do it and forget it and go on to the next one and keep preparing yourself for the next one when that comes. So don't let that be something that consumes you. You need to start getting ready for rejection. It builds strength. It builds power. And even the feelings you get from that rejection can be potentially used in a scene, where you feel let down, you feel destroyed, you feel like you're a failure. That can be used in a scene if you come across something like that. So remember to keep all these feelings in your internal database of emotions you can draw on. And you can combine feelings. You can combine the happiness with rejection. You can combine, sadness with joy. Because as humans, we span a multitude of emotions within a day, sometimes within one situation when you're talking to someone. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And you want to have those feelings to draw upon. That's what this video is all about. Using those emotions to make you a better actor or actress. Using personal moments as fuel. Now, as an actor, I've done this a lot. I draw back on things that happened to me in my life, and I use those as fuel to drive the scene I'm in. Again, I want to stress, it doesn't have to be the exact situation. So you can pull a little bit from something that happened to you in real life and embellish it and build it into your character underneath the text that you need to say. So use your real life as fuel to drive your character. And again, it's nothing more powerful than doing that in an audition. You may get on the set and they may change it, but in the audition, when you're showing them the best of you, you want to have some subtext under those lines. And even if it's not the exact subtext that will be used in the scene, you will stand out if you bring something to that character. They may correct you, if you're in a live audition. I've had that happen a lot too. I went in and I have something under that character and I use it and the casting director says, oh, that was nice, but this is how the director's going to want it. And then you pivot. You pivot to how the director's going to want it. Don't fight. Don't argue. Just make that pivot and change the emotions that you had underneath it. Sometimes you soften it. Sometimes you may go a totally different way, they may tell you. But initially, have something prepared that drives that scene, that gives that character life, that brings that character, that makes him human, that makes him or her human, that makes him three-dimensional, something that will make people want to watch that character. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Use your emotions, your background, things that have happened to you. Again, things that have happened to maybe your sister, your brother, your cousin, your mother, your uncle, your father. Use those real life situations and how it affected them in your acting, in your auditions, to bring those characters to life. Think about this. This is something you need to think about because it has to be something that you are used to doing. It's got to be second nature when you get a script and you look at it and you decide on how I'm going to deliver this line, how am I going to deliver this line. Make those choices. That's why they bring the actors in to do this, because they want the actors to bring life to these characters. You have the written word there on the page, but it's lifeless. It's just text. It's like I said before, artificial intelligence can read that line back, but they're not going to give it the emotion that an actor can. Well, not yet, but they're not going to give it the emotion that an actor can. So, and it's not going to give the personal feeling that you could, because that's inside of you. That's something from you. It could be a combination of feelings. It could be feelings for a pet that got run over by a car. You know, that can be used in the scene to make you feel and react to seeing your friend gunned down. Again, it doesn't have to be the exact emotion. A lot of times actors get mixed up with that, thinking that, well, I never saw one of my friends get shot in the street, so I don't know how that would. Don't go there. Don't go there. You can use something much less life and death to bring feelings to the forefront so that your character can have emotions. Your character can seem real. Your character can be three-dimensional. You can use what's happened in your life. You can use what's happened in someone close to you in their life. Use those emotions, and that will make your character stand out. That will make your character believable. That will make people want to look at you and see what you're going to do next. And it takes that confidence. It takes that ability to relax in the character and react to what the other actor is saying to you, to react to the situation that the film or television show has put you in, and bring out the real emotions that you have inside of you and use those to deliver your lines, to deliver your reactions when you're listening. Listening is a big point also. Make sure you get into the habit of listening to what your scene partner is saying so that you can react believably. You're not just a blank slate, dead-eyed looking, waiting to say your line. Don't overdo it. Sometimes actors have a tendency to overdo the reaction, but truly listen, and you won't have to do anything. Your face, your eyes will reflect. That's the beautiful thing about being human. We react to what we hear, we react to what we see. And that's something that you just have to trust in yourself. Tape yourself sometimes, and just for the rehearsal purposes and practice, and have someone say things to you, and just see how you react. Naturally react. Not trying to play a character, not trying to deliver any lines, but just look at your reaction, see how you naturally react to things that you hear. So that's a nice little lesson that you might be, a nice little experiment you might want to try, to see how you naturally react to things and what the actor will see and what the camera will see. And finally, give yourself the permission to be human, to feel things, to react. Don't feel that you have to be the strong, silent type where nothing gets to you and nothing hurts you. There comes a time for those roles where you will play that, and that's the character, and that's what you do. But most of the time, we react as humans. You say something hurtful to someone, they might get upset. They might get tearful. They might get withdrawn. They might want to fight. Be human. Use the feelings that you really feel as if these words are being said to you and that this situation is really refers to you. How would you naturally react? That's what you want to show in the audition. That's what you want to show as you develop your character. And again, these things can all be changed. Don't worry about that yet. Don't try to guess what the director is going to say. Don't try to guess what the casting person is going to want. Deliver believable reactions and dialogue based on what's going on internally inside of you. Use the best of you. Use your reactions. Use your feelings. Use your emotion and deliver the character. Give that character life. And again, this may all change, but you want to show that you have the ability to be human. You have the ability to be open. You have the skill and the talent and the desire to show your humanity, to show that you have emotions, to show that you will react when something is said to you, either good, bad, or indifferent. But be human and use emotions that you have inside and get into the habit of it. Practice. It all takes practice. All of this I'm talking about takes practice. It doesn't come overnight. It comes from a lifetime of development and looking at yourself and how easy you are to let those emotions flow, to let it come out, to expose it, to let the camera and the audience see a real person. That's what they want to see. I'll see you on the next one.